3 weeks into the start of the term. The young man adjusts the straps of his backpack as he heads off campus, excitement on his face as he makes his way towards his destination for the afternoon. The security wards of the school recognize his magical signature and easily let him pass without the slightest hint of discomfort setting over his magical core. He pauses when he notices the familiar figure in front of him, and he quickens his pace, lengthening his strides to catch up to her as he calls out, Mariana, wait!
Mariana does not stop walking, but she turns over to look at his approaching form as she coolly responds, "What do you want, Garrett?"
Garrett pauses for a moment before hastily responding, I, I don't want anything. I just want to help.
And what motivations do you have for wanting to help?
Because everyone needs help, and cooperative magic requires more than one caster. Garrett nods knowingly to the outlines of various bandages on Mariana's arm, normally covered by the sleeves of the tunic dress that she wears. But as this is an afternoon following classes, and she is headed off campus, Mariana is dressed much more casually, in jeans and a tank top, and the thin cardigan she wears over her ensemble does not successfully conceal the bandages. However, Garrett recognizes the placement of the bandages, suspects the marks they cover up, and knows what they represent.
The expression on Mariana's face hardens, and she steps forward, keeping her voice low as she says coldly, "I will tell you this, Garrett. I'm not kind. I'm not your friend. And I'm not here to make friends. I don't need your pity or your sympathy. If you want to help, know that if you betray me, I will kill you."
Garrett swallows back the nervous lump in his throat. Yes, he knows that Mariana is intimidating, and common sense tells him that he should probably walk away now, because he now knows that she is also dangerous. But he wants to set a good example for his younger sister, to inspire her to help others, to show her that anyone can make the world a better place if they just have the courage to step up and take action. He can't back down now. I won't betray you, Mariana. I just want to help. Honest, he responds with the slightest waver in his voice.
There is a glint of metal, and then Mariana places a knife down in the palm of his hand as she says, "Prove it."
There goes his plan to volunteer at the animal rescue today. Garrett swallows, takes the knife, and asks, How?
Welcome to Arcadia Academy, the elite school for magicians. Here, we teach our students to prepare for battle like Athena, but fight like Ares. All of our students have the opportunity to learn battle magic should they choose. But remember, great magic requires sacrifice. Hi guys, and welcome to Arcadia Academy. I'm Kelly, your DM for this campaign. Joining me today are Betty, who plays Cassandra.
Why, hello there.
Cecil, who plays John Baptiste.
Good evening.
Caleb, who plays James.
Hello, hello.
Logan, who plays Demetrius.
Hey, everyone.
Nick, who plays Alex.
What's up?
Today, we are joined by David, the DM from the back screen, who helps me make things happen, and he occasionally voices Professor Yuri Romanov. And occasionally will be graced by Rosie, our resident Catdragon. So, guys, when we last left off, you guys continued to be unable to find answers into the students who either disappeared or have been attacked. And eventually you were all returned to your dorm rooms, where you discovered instructions on your doors stating that you guys were going on a field trip for your introduction to alchemy class. You guys at some point also sent out invitations to your families to invite them to open house. Some of you decided to invite families, some of you didn't. For your field trip, you guys were accompanied by a group of older students, including Renee and Callan, who were responsible for your protection for the duration of the trip. After you guys spent an afternoon gathering ingredients and preparing them in a variety of ways, you guys had the opportunity to chat amongst yourselves as you settled in for the evening. However, your evening was interrupted as you finally learned what happened to the students who went missing or were attacked. Is there anything you'd like to add to that?
Jasmine's a bitch.
That, and Alex is no longer panicking.
Okay. So, guys,
How could you do that to your friends? Goodness.
Right?
so no additional announcement is made. However, you guys hear from the grapevine, from older students and whatnot, and Alex later kind of hears from Alyssa that Jasmine was eventually found and essentially arrested by the Centurion Coven. So you figure that's the name of the group of Centurions. Coven is a hint to how many there are. And that she has been stripped of her magic and expelled from the school. And so Jasmine is no more, as far as you're aware. So,
Wait, how do they strip someone of their magic?
You can strip someone of their magic?
it's a technique that only master magicians are privy to. It's been hinted I think episode 1 when Demetrius asked, "Can you get rid of magic?" But the process is kind of arcane. You guys would not be able to find information about it. And if you asked faculty, they would kind of keep the details amongst themselves. You would get very vague general responses. So, before you know it, your families, if you've invited your families, they would arrive the Friday evening prior to open house. And they are shown to the guest cottages that have been erected by artificing and nature students with the aid of faculty members. Demetrius, your family, your parents would have opted to not spend the evening. They would have shown up the next morning with... Did we say your butler's name was Jeeves or Jarvis?
Oh God, I can't remember.
I can't remember. I want to say it was Jarvis because I'm very partial to the name.
Such first world problems. What was my butler's name
Anyways,
again?
So your family butler, who we think is named Jarvis, would bring them the next morning because it's too plebeian for them to stay at guest cottages. So first, your students, all your parents, if you invite them, your families would have arrived at the same time, minus Demetrius' parents and minus Cassandra's, because Cassandra did not invite her parents. So Alex, your dad arrives at the same time as James's father, at the same time as John Baptiste's pappy, grandfather. And they're a little woozy as they step out of the teleportation portals. It's this giant kind of circle of sigil. So there's multiple teleportation circles within a bigger one. And you infer that this is because cooperative magic allows the spell to kind of multiply in strength and power and stability so that you're able to teleport multiple people at once. And so we will start with James. So James, your father, Robert, steps out from the teleportation portal. He's staggering on his feet a little.
Dad, it's been a while.
Yeah, son. And he kind of stands back after he shakes his head a little, reorients himself, puts his hands on your shoulders and goes, "Wow, son, and he pokes your shoulder. You've gained a little muscle because you've been working out." And he's like, "So, son, what are the 3 types of rock?"
Oh boy. Oh boy.
And you know that your dad's about to come up with one of his dad jokes, but geology version because it's your dad.
Right.
And as you're looking at him incredulously, he's like, "Classic, punk, and hard." And he's poking your shoulder.
Oh boy. I've missed you.
Missed you too. So tell me all about this magic stuff. Can you show me something? And are you drinking enough water?
Yes, Dad.
Are you sure?
I'm fine.
Are all your friends drinking enough water? Are all of you staying hydrated?
Yeah, we are staying plenty hydrated.
Okay, good. So he throws his arm around you and has you lead him off.
All right.
Alex, your father Demetrius steps through the portal wearing kind of an outdoor a fishing or hiking vest. as his most recent job from your communications has been he's been working at campsites, ensuring that the grounds are like safe for adventurers and that the hiking trails are clean and taken care of. So it looks like he might have just finished a shift or something, and he rushed over to the portal to like meet you.
Hey, hey, Dad. Yeah.
Hey, you look a little thin. Are you eating enough? And then he like reaches into his pocket and pulls out like 2 sandwiches, like a big bag of sandwiches, and passes it to you and like, make sure you're eating.
Yeah. I have been eating.
Okay. So he like nudges you, like gives you like a little wink, and he's like, so am I going to get to meet this Alyssa that you've been telling me all about?
Alex's face immediately goes red.
And your dad
Yeah.
chuckles like good naturedly.
Yeah. I don't know where she is at the moment, but you'll definitely be able to.
So Alex, as you say that, you actually spot Alyssa from like the corner of your eye, who's been helping to like redirect the guests to like the cottages and making, helping answering questions as best as she can and whatnot. She's wearing some kind of like armband that you would infer designates her as like a person you can go to with your questions.
Actually, she is right over there.
And as you approach, she like turns over and goes, "Oh, hey, Alex. And you must be his father, Mr. Rowan."
Yes. Alyssa, this is my father, Demetrius.
Your father's name is Joshua.
Joshua. Wait,
Yeah,
what did I
call
write?
me Joshua. I've heard so much about you, Alyssa. Are you hungry? Would you like a sandwich? And he like reaches into his other pocket and pulls out a sandwich and hands it to her. And she looks like bewildered. But thank you, Joshua. I love sandwiches. She looks really confused, but she takes it like good naturedly. And she nods to like the bag of sandwiches in your hand, and she says, "So you like sandwiches too, huh? How about I show? I'm sure Alex is going to give you the grand tour, but how about if I can point out some of the more low key, awesome things that Alex may not have learned about yet?" And Joshua nods, and he's like, "Of course, I would love to. Any important person to my son is someone I'd love to get to know better. Are you eating enough?" And like some of you guys might hear this conversation as you guys like they walk off. Oh fuck, John Baptiste was at the top of the list. I'm sorry, Cecil. For some reason, I was thinking no, but Cecil. So, I mean John Baptiste. So your Pappy Sammy, who you know is in your late 60s, but like is probably one of the healthiest people you know. Like he's like very spry for his age. He almost leaps out of the portal, pointing at it with like his cane. And he, for some reason, is wearing shorts and like a Hawaiian t-shirt. And he's like, "Oh, Sonny, this is some very, very powerful magic stuff you have over here. You get to do this all the time?"
You're not gonna believe this place, Pappy Sammy. And
Well.
John Baptiste goes over and gives him a hug.
And he like throws his arms around you, like his cane, like in his hand, like goes flying and almost like slaps someone in the face. And he looks up at you and says, "You have to show me everything."
Well, I can't show you everything, but I'll show you the good stuff.
Well, that's the best part. I totally forgot what accent I just gave Pappy Sammy because I drank my tea. So he like gestures for you to lead the way, and he's like hobbling along a little bit on his cane, but he's very dignified.
I'll show you that free food I put out in the library to entice the students to study. You'll enjoy it.
Oh, and how's that enticing you, son?
Well, I don't personally need to study. The Baron tells me everything I need to know. But for the other students that might need the persuasion, there's quite a smorgasbord available. Let's go check it out, see what we find.
All right, Sonny. So he lets you lead towards Cassandra. What are you doing during this time while the students are like greeting their family members and whatnot? Are you in the quad area or are you like in your room?
I'm hiding in the library because I'm assuming like people are going to show their parents the dorms and whatnot, and I just like don't
Gotcha.
want to be around any of that. So I'm just like deep in the library. No, like if people are going to show their parents their library, they're just like be in the entrance. I'll be somewhere in the back,
Yeah, so the library is very strict on like who can, you know. So for open house weekend, the library grants visitors like a weekend pass where you can like visit, but you can't check out any books unless you're a student. So that way students can kind of show off like here are the resources we have available and stuff. And maybe like take a peek at some of the books and whatnot. But Cassandra would absolutely be able to like hide away in like a study room downstairs if she'd like. Which
I
would
feel like
probably
I'd
be
more like sit in the books.
okay. So then you are
Yeah.
absolutely able to do that. You still have frustrations with certain topics if you're looking for those, but if you're just looking to like study, review your notes or whatever, that's fine.
Yeah, I'll sit in like the stacks.
Okay. Demetrius, what about you?
What about me? What?
Well, your parents aren't here yet. They're not going to be here till the next day. So for that evening or late afternoon, are you out with the other students as they're greeting their families?
Oh,
Or
hell
are
no.
you like hiding in your room? Are you like,
Um,
are you socializing or are you not, basically?
what's Cassandra doing?
Hiding in the library.
Cassandra is hiding in the stacks.
I don't want to go to the library. Oh.
And that's okay.
If you had told me that your parents weren't going to be around like at this time, then I would have said, "Oh, well, I'm going to go to the library to go avoid everyone. Do you want to come with?"
I'll with I would go with Cassandra unless one of the older students that who's my trainer, I forget.
Sylvie.
Sylvie, yeah. Unless she invites me to be with her, hang out with her family if her family's there yet. But if not, then I'll go hang out with Cassandra.
If you're hanging out in the quad, you would absolutely see Sylvie greeting her family. They would have come. And Sylvie would have taken a moment to introduce you guys and say, Mother, Father, this is my mentee, Demetrius Opedos of House Opedos. And you guys would have made like proper formal greetings as dictated by your houses.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
and
yeah,
you guys would have made like polite conversation. Her parents would have asked you, politely like about your discipline, how you're studying and all that. Nothing super like crazy, but like polite talk that you normally do anyways.
okay, yeah. And then small talk, and I'll probably just avoid people.
Okay. So Cassandra and Demetrius are hiding in the library.
Yes. Because no one will find Demetrius in the library.
You're not wrong. As long as you don't have your phone, because,
No, I've learned my lesson.
I would hope so. I was like, how many phones have to fry? Or like, does your dad have to like ground you? Like, what's going on? But anyways, so families arrive and they settle in for the evening and whatnot. The next day, there's people all over campus as students are showing their families around, introducing them to their friends, their classmates, their faculty. One note about open house is that family is not allowed to visit Olympia Village unless they are Arcadia Academy alumni. So again, to protect the secrets of the school. Demetrius, your parents arrived the next day, dressed in very fine, very elegant clothing. Your father, Leonidas, your mother, Calliope, step out of like the limousine driven by Jarvis, and Jarvis kind of like holds the door open, like bows with a flourish and says, "My lord, my lady, we have arrived. I will be in town for the duration, and please call upon me if you wish to return to the estate." And how do you greet them, Demetrius?
Mother, how was your drive?
It was fine, son. I see that you have grown a little bit during your time here. I hope that means you have matured as well.
Well, we can't have everything we want, now can we?
There's like a flash of like irritation in your father's eyes as he has been kind of hinting for you to mature a little bit, but your mother kind of throws her arms around you and goes, "Oh my darling, I have missed you so much. Oh, look at you." And she like leans back and like puts her like hands on your cheek and kind of like squishes a little bit. Doesn't quite pinch. Like you can tell she's like refraining from pinching your cheeks, but like she's like kind of gently like holding your face, and she's like, "Oh, you have grown, and oh, your features have matured a little bit, and oh my goodness, has it been 5 weeks? Only 5 weeks?
Mom.
Stop.
And your parents kind of start walking. They're familiar with the campus, but they are, eager to see what you've been learning and eager to see how the other students are. So open house is typically a grand event, and there are demonstrations all over the quad as older students show off the progress of their graduation projects. So a group of artificing students are currently attempting to design like a magical cell phone that negates the effects of magic on regular technological devices. Jonathan and Alyssa are currently working on a pill that grants the benefits of a long rest without the need to carry rations, and it's currently undergoing additional research. And then the kind of like the spotlight, the project that's being spotlighted is synthetic dragon skin that was created by an artificing student a couple years back. That's almost as effective as the real thing. And the patent is currently pending for combat magicians to use in the field. So you guys see like opportunities depending on what the project is to like test it out. So like the synthetic dragon skin, you're able to like take a sword and like swing at it. It's like being displayed on a dummy, and it's like really, really effective.
Wow.
So you guys enjoy like a peaceful afternoon of that. What's Cassandra doing there during this time? Let's start with you because your parents are not here and you did not invite them.
That's a good question. Well, like Cassandra can't hide completely, so like she'll sleep in her room and she'll eat when like in the dining hall with like everybody else. So yeah, she'd probably just like go to the library.
Okay.
And
So Cassandra, you would know that based on the schedule, you would have pretty free reign of your like morning and afternoon, but there are announcements that will be made in the evenings, and so all students and like everyone's expected to attend evening announcements.
yeah,
But aside from that, you have free reign of like your day.
yeah, I'm probably just going to walk around campus and like try to avoid people and like sit in the library, but there's only so much like sitting in a dark, not dark, but like sitting in a building that you could do. And it's kind of, I don't know, depressing. So yeah, she'll go outside and like walk around too, but like try to avoid people.
Okay.
Mm.
James, true to form, your dad continues to throw out puns every chance he's got.
Yeah,
So-
that sounds like him.
Kelly, does that mean you have a list of puns for us?
Yeah. So,
Oh my gosh.
well, I mean, I'm not going to throw out like 20 of them at once, but he's like, as you guys are walking, he's like, I started calling myself an ageologist because I don't believe in the divinity of geode.
Mm,
Demetrius slow clapping.
that gets both Alex and Nick to just cringe a bit.
Yeah. Yep.
But like your dad, James, you know that his personality, like he's generally like really calm and accepting. So you didn't really feel nervous telling him about magic at all. Like he's surprisingly calm and accepting of things that normally don't like make sense. Possibly. But anyways, he's like really proud of you. He's like, like when you went missing for those 2 months, I was so worried, but then your school called, said that they were gonna find you, and they did. So like I think that they're good, and it looks like you're doing good here. Like you're growing, and I'm like BRB.
That wasn't a cat dragon. Some other
No.
creature.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no. Yeah, that's not Rosie.
It's not Rosie.
I just wonder if she mentions the cat or Rosie in other than like the normal introduction, because I think people hear Rosie all the time, but they don't actually hear Rosie.
I was listening back my one-on-one that I did with Kelly. You can definitely hear Rosie in mine.
Yeah.
She was
Yeah.
really loud.
Yeah, that's when I noticed Rosie the most. It's like,
She was so loud.
So where was I? So Cassandra's doing the thing. We did James. Demetrius.
Yes.
I mean, I guess your parents would be like pressing you for gossip.
I don't know.
Like they wouldn't call it gossip, but they would be like, "So, son, like tell us how How do you find your classmates? Are they powerful? Are they strong? Are they, whatever?
I mean,
You're gonna talk shit about them while they're all listening? No, I'm kidding.
yeah. I mean, they try.
We're not here.
You know that a magician is only as powerful as those they ally themselves with. So I do hope that for your sake that there are powerful allies in your year.
Well, that's why they're all my friends, because they want to be to the powerful one.
Very well.
He smirks. It's all bullshit, but he's just...
Yeah, and I feel like your parents being your parents would kind of see through that. So your dad's looking at you contemplatively, the tiniest amount of skepticism, because I mean he was once a student at Arcadia Academy and he knows how it works. And you know that eventually you're going to learn cooperative magic, which is the reason that you all need to be powerful together, because you guys have to be at a minimum level in order to cast these spells. As you guys walk, your mother would bring up, "Oh, the blink ball games should be right around the corner, shouldn't they?" And your father says, "Yes, and I do expect that you will be participating, will you not?"
Do I know what the blink ball games are?
Yes. So
Okay.
your parents would have mentioned it. It's basically like a magical competition / tournament that happens every 3 years, and it's like a test of everything you are as not just a magician but as a person, and you have to enter in teams. So you would know these things throughout the years, and you would have been really excited to attend Arcadia Academy at this time, because you know that the blink ball games would be right around the corner, kind of.
Yeah, and I am very... I tell them, yeah, I'm quite excited for the games.
Good. Your mother and I will do our best to see if we can attend to show our support for our house.
Oh, by the way, how's our cousins?
Well, it could have been worse. Their estate survived, somewhat intact. They did not.
They did not.
So
what?
you will inherit that estate once you marry Adriana, and it will be absorbed back into our family as it should be. Your father doesn't seem too upset by the fact that your cousin's family is all deceased.
He just echoes what the father says, saying as it should be, and then
Okay.
leaves it as that.
Okay. John Baptiste, what are you showing Pappy Sammy as you guys are exploring the campus, aside from, the great food in the library?
I think that he's going to give him the tour of some of the spirits he's met and
Okay.
end up in the courtyard so we can talk to him about Rosie.
You're going to talk to your grandfather about Rosie?
Yes.
Okay. So you guys find a quiet spot, and are you telling him everything?
Yes.
Including your dreams, or just your conversation, or what?
No, I'm just going to tell him the things I know for sure so far.
Okay, and what are you asking him?
I'm not really asking him. I'm not going to ask him anything. I just wanted to let him know the situation, what's going on. I found another student that has the same kind of abilities that John Baptiste has, but doesn't have the Baron looking out for her, kind of thing.
Okay. Well, son, it sounds... I'm going to say that your grandfather refers to you as son. But he doesn't mean it as in, biologically. It's, the term of endearment or whatever. Well, son, that sounds like a very complicated situation you got going on. Best be careful. Things have a way of coming undone.
Well, we got to do what the Baron says to do, and I think that's why he's got me here. Look out for her or something. I don't know. There are things going on here that I have not shed light on.
Yes, well, you best be careful. Don't want to lose you now.
You know me. I am always careful.
Well, sometimes things happen beyond our control. But best keep praying to the Baron and ask that he watches over you and this gal.
I'll leave an offering for you as well, sir. It is very important to me that you are safe as well. You are my family.
And he kind of smirks a little bit and says, "Son, I'll be lighting candles for you long after.
I have no doubt that this is true.
And Alex. So true to form, after Alyssa gives you guys, the tour and whatnot, points out some really awesome things, brings you guys to like the greenhouses, because the last time you visited was probably like over the summer, and you may not have been back since school was in session, and they are beautiful and lush, and you are like in heaven. Afterwards, your dad would have invited Alyssa to join you guys for dinner. She would have accepted, and she would have like asked him all sorts of questions about you, to which your dad would have like pulled out like childhood photos like on his phone and shown her like your baby photos, much to your embarrassment, but much to her delight. And the next day, she kind of leaves you guys alone to spend some time together. You would notice that her parents were not present, as far as you could see.
Okay, Alex is slightly less panicked. So, Dad,
Yes.
this charm, and I pull out the necklace and my holy symbol. I was told that this is a symbol of one of Artemis's chosen. Did Mom ever talk about it?
Well, I know that her side of the family hailed from Greece, so I wasn't surprised that her family, or at least your mother, believed in the goddess Artemis and prayed to her.
So Mom did.
I wouldn't be surprised that that is a symbol of Artemis in some way, shape, or form. Your mother talked about how important it was to raise you in and for you to know her goodness. And I guess that did something because you're well, here.
Yeah, I guess it did.
Your dad doesn't really have much more to offer.
Fair enough.
Okay. So anybody else want to do anything with their parents, minus Cassandra, before evening announcements?
I think
No.
John Baptiste would introduce Pappy Sammy to Mariana, but probably from afar.
Probably what?
From afar. I don't think Mariana
Oh, okay. So
would
you would
enjoy
like
the
point her out
experience.
as
Yeah.
if you see her walking about. I was
Yeah.
like, huh. Okay.
Demetrius will probably meet up with Sylvie and her parents.
So kind of like have your families meet up?
Probably.
Okay, so yeah, in true noble fashion, you guys would kind of talk.
Yep. Nothing in particular. Just
Yeah, and you guys would like maybe make your way to the auditorium together for evening announcements as night falls.
Okay.
So the auditorium, you notice as you walk in, is somehow bigger than it normally is. Like the seating has somehow like quadrupled within like the same space somehow. And you guys, it's open seating, so you guys wander in, sit wherever you'd like. And Headmistress Valentine eventually makes her way to the podium, followed by Olivia Quinn, who's like waiting like at the side of the stage. And she kind of waits for it to fall silent, and she says, "Good evening. My name is Emma Valentine, and I am the headmistress here at Arcadia Academy. And I have the privilege of watching over the education and the growth of our young magicians while they study at our school." And then, before she can continue, the doors to the auditorium burst open, and a woman walks in. And this woman is very striking. She's really beautiful with soft features, dark hair, and piercing blue eyes that are contained within a slender frame that radiates power. She wears a rich green embroidered dress coat with black ruffles and gold accents, black leather gloves, and tall black heeled boots. And as she walks in, this draws an unexpected response from one of the staff members, or from one of the faculty members.
How dare you? What dark pits of hell do you think you crawled from? You come here. You bring her visage into my home. This will not stand. Show yourself. You foul son of a whore, so I may send you back to the shadows, reeking and bleeding from every orifice.
Oh, my poor husband, Zarapista. Have I been gone for so long that you do not recognize me?
Shut that lying mouth before I tear it from your face.
And at this, Yuri draws his quarterstaff and throws himself at the intruder. Hey, Cassandra.
Yes.
So, as this is happening, you get like a really bad feeling about what's happening, but you're not quite sure why.
Can I do an insight check?
You may attempt to do an insight check.
17.
You're not quite sure. It's like this uneasy feeling that's crawling through your like bones. And at this, I need everybody to roll a Constitution saving throw as people start dropping asleep in their seats.
Okay.
As this is happening, you notice that Yuri falls to his knees and drops his weapon momentarily, but he manages to dig his fists into the intruder's clothing, scraping a single drop of blood. So let me see. James and Demetrius, you guys managed to stay awake. However, this feeling of like tiredness and weariness seeps through your body. The rest of you guys fall asleep. Yes, Cassandra.
The 12 doesn't pass?
A 12 does not pass.
Okay. Darn it.
It was a DC 16.
Okay.
And the woman standing, smiles and says, well, if I cannot entice you with myself, perhaps I can entice you with our daughter's soul in exchange for your life.
You come bearing such a bargain. You truly understand the gravity of your presence here. My daughter's soul is no chip.
And the woman kind of like waves one of her arms into like a circular motion, and a sphere of glowing orb forms. And there's something in it that Yuri seems to recognize before his eyes widen.
That cannot be.
Oh, but it is. I know what you want more than anything in the world. And at this, Professors Walker and DuPont and Asher Carillion kind of make their way up to flank Yuri as they all face this being, imposter, creature, whatever.
You will leave her here with me, or you will not be leaving with your life.
I don't think so, my love.
Right. Yuri looks to his left and right, flanked by his allies. Diplomacy is over, and he launches into an assault.
Okay, so those of you who are awake, in this case, Demetrius and James, you guys notice that despite it being 4 powerful magicians against this one singular opponent, she seems to stand her ground, easily holding her own. You also notice that the faculty members appear to work very well together. Professors Romanov and Walker move in tandem with their respective weapons, moving back and forth to create space for Professor DuPont to fire bolts. Asher Carillion impedes the opponent by causing the earth to open up, catching the opponent's makeshift ankles and causing them to stumble. And all around the room, you notice that those who are still awake are like waking others up or trying to wake them up. So this is gonna, I mean, do you guys want to do anything as you guys are still awake?
Great question.
I mean, I don't see us. How far away is she from us?
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. Well, I fucked that up. Hold
Are
on.
they about ready to throw down?
They're currently throwing down.
Oh, they're currently throwing down.
Yeah, they've like engaged.
Well, hell yeah.
Let me just bring us to the homepage and we'll just throw our character tokens onto that because it's the closest map. Let me show you the woman. So this is Liliana Romanov, and your professors who are engaging them in combat are like, we'll just throw all the professors in the corner. You guys can place yourselves wherever you would be. Headmistress auditorium's like at the front, facing you guys. The staff would have been in the corner somewhere, and Olivia Quinn would have been like to that side.
I want to get involved, but I don't know how much I can do.
So as you guys are thinking, Alex, you feel like someone's slapping you across the face as you like are abruptly awoken from slumber, and you see that it's Jonathan, who's like glancing at you, making sure you're awake, like, get your ass up. Like, and then he like moves to like the next student as he's making his way down the row.
James will get as close as he can here.
Okay. So up on the stage?
Yeah, he's gonna try and cast.
You're gonna just hop on the
Bless.
stage.
Yeah.
Okay.
James will try and cast Bless on three that he can reach. Yuri, whoever this is here.
That's
then,
Professor Walker.
Yep,
And
he'll-
that's Asher Carillion.
Yep, he'll
Okay,
do-
and Asher, as he senses you walking up, would say, you need to move out of range, fledgling. We will handle it. You move back to safety.
All right, then he will not cast Bless. He will just simply scurry off. He'll go start picking up those. He'll help Jonathan in starting to wake up people.
Okay. I'm going to say that if you guys are both focusing on waking them up, you're able to get to Jean-Baptiste and Cassandra. Anyone who's glancing at the battle on occasion would notice that the woman's form melts away, like in place to form like this shadowy figure that doesn't really have a form. So for the purposes and intents of this episode, I have a really hard time describing this. I'm going to call it a creature, but it doesn't mean that that's what it is necessarily. I'm going to use phrases like creature, being, thing, opponent, enemy. Okay? Until you guys try to roll checks to see what this is, you guys do not know. But this shadowy amalgam replaces the previous form of Liliana Romanoff. And as you guys are now all awake.
Demetrius, because I'm looking at the spell command. She doesn't actually need to know that I'm saying it. Well, I mean, she does, but you speak a one-word command to a creature you can see within range. Doesn't mean she actually knows that I'm saying it to her, but kind of say it to her to avoid her getting pissed off at me if it doesn't work. If that makes sense.
But don't they know that you tried to use command on them if you fail?
I don't think so. Let me pull it up on the screen for everybody.
I mean, Demetrius, are you sure you want to try this?
I feel like this is something he's going to want to do.
Okay, so let me see.
Let me see if
I'm going to say that it has to know who's casting it, because otherwise how would they obey the command? No?
I'm reading it so far. There is nothing in here that counters his argument. He just is commanding it to stop, and it just has to succeed or fail. There is nothing saying that they know.
Okay, so Demetrius, you can attempt to cast it if you'd like.
I'm going to do that. I'm going to cast stop. Command and tell it to stop.
Wisdom
and it's a
saving
10,
throw.
so God, I hope it rolls bad.
It has to
So
roll
Demetrius-
really bad.
Nothing happens as you cast command, because
Never
your save
does.
is like a 10. And this is, well, you imagine it's quite powerful as it's holding its own against 4 professors who are very powerful, allegedly.
Mm-hmm.
So as you guys are watching, you see this creature form 4 golden glowing orbs of magic. The first orb that you saw kind of disappears, like it's like removed from sight or removed from your this plane, whatever. It's no longer here. And in its place, you see 4 glowing golden orbs of magic. And you guys don't need to reach out with your magic to know that these radiate with more power than you've ever seen or felt in your life. And the orbs hit 4 of the faculty members, Headmistress Valentine, Olivia Quinn, and Professors Walker and Cresswell. And they go flying back, hitting the walls with such force that the walls crack. Like there's a deep fissure that like goes up to the ceiling. And the faculty members slump over, severely injured or unconscious.
Alex would run over to where he can get within 30 feet of a few of them, but cautiously.
Well, there's one here, and the rest of them are clustered here. So where do you want to place yourself?
Thing is, I have to be within 30 feet of them in order for the spell to be able to work. Where is roughly 30 feet? Okay, I want to... If I can get there without being seen.
You can try to roll stealth. But you literally just saw this creature knock out Olivia Quinn
I'm not doing it to the creature. What I'm doing is literally a healing spell that can.
Oh.
It takes like 10 minutes to cast, but I'm going to at least attempt to get him up.
Gotcha.
So I'm going to put myself into a spot where I can get a few of them. Please tell me this is. Damn it.
Asher looks okay from what you can tell, but Headmistress Valentine is like struggling, like she's like pushing herself up on her her elbows. Olivia Quinn's unconscious. This clearly caught them off guard. Are
Okay,
you guys
I
like
can-
casually dressed, or are you guys like armored up?
Armor.
Sunshine
mean-
has her spell book, but she also like doesn't wear armor.
Okay.
Okay, I would
So
at
this
least.
doesn't do anything.
Since I can't get close enough for that spell to work, I will at least go over and cast Cure Wounds on the headmistress.
Okay.
Alex would pump out a. This would be at first level. It's not much, but he's at least trying.
Yeah, and you see Headmistress Valentine breathing a little harshly, and her eyes are kind of glazed over with pain, and she looks up and says, "You need to move back, young magician. I
Right.
appreciate the assistance,
James will do the
but
same
take your friends
for Quinn.
and move back." What are you doing, James?
James will do a Cure Wounds at 2nd level on Quinn.
Okay. So Olivia Quinn is like still slumped over, but like you see her like crack her eyes open, and she's clearly in a lot of pain. And you see Headmistress Valentine like throwing her hand out, like gesturing for her to stay where she is.
He gets a bunch of healing.
And Olivia Quinn whispers, what's going on? What you need?" And she looks up at you, and she's a little frantic, in pain, but a little worried. She's like, You need to move back as well,
Get
young
back.
one.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah, get back.
And she kind of like props herself up against the wall, and she starts like casting what you might recognize as a defensive battle ward over herself. Would you guys like to enter initiative? Or are you guys just trying to like be subtle with how you're assisting right now?
Subtly.
I thought we
assisting.
were in initiative for some reason, because I have been waiting for a chance to do something.
Oh no, everyone's been kind of freeing it right now. I will say that Demetrius, the creature, didn't notice your command because it was distracted by the faculty members.
Cool.
We'll say that's what happened. What would you like to do, John Baptiste? If
John
anything?
Baptiste wants to, his grandfather's there, so he's going to say, Pappy Sammy, it's time for you to go. See about getting the rest of these folk out here, too. And
All
then
right,
he's gonna-
son, but the Baron better be watching over you.
Granny
I
dug
will
my
meet
grave
you
yet.
outside. And at that, he's gonna like slowly make his way out and kind of like help people up as he's going, like stopping to like talk to somebody and like, usher them out. It's panic and it's pandemonium. Like students who are awake are trying to wake up other students, but also make sure their family members are getting out. Like you see students kind of, a couple of them slowly starting to like chant. So you see there are like a million things happening at once. So you see students and faculty members starting to like chant something. It's something that's repetitive. It's something that you hear growing in volume as faculty members and students kind of are like waking each other up and adding to this repetitive chanting. You also see like some magicians who are like slowly waking up, like they're confused about what's going on. So like they're propping themselves up with the aid of their discipline. So like Sylvie has like her legs encased in a block of ice, and ice is wrapping itself around her torso to like hold her up. Alyssa is standing with the aid of vines that she's directing to like help others. And they're like continuing to chant as they're activating something that you're not super sure about what's going on. You also see invisible forces attempt to attack this being. And you would now recognize these as the school centurions trying to do their duty. However, the creature is very easily able to deflect them.
He's going to move forward, getting within the outer limits of Eyes of the Grave, and he wants to see if he can get a better picture if this is something from the beyond by using Eyes of the Grave to look at it.
It is not
Okay.
a creature from the beyond,
All
as
right.
far as you can tell. So, as this creature is easily kind of keeping your professors at bay, it turns its attention to the opposite end of the room, to where you guys are. And
Can I do a perception check on it to see or like some kind of check to see if I know what it is? It's just a shadowy creature.
you may attempt to argue which check you'd like to make.
Let's see. Arcana, because I've been in the library very much reading
Okay.
random things, just trying to hide. So see if. Oh, and then. Oh, I guess I'm not looking for something from a book. Never mind. 8.
You do not recognize what this creature is.
Yeah.
All right. So, Cassandra, Jean Baptiste, Alex, and Demetrius, I need all of you to make me a dexterity saving throw.
Dexterity saving throw.
Not
12.
James.
I'm assuming it's like a line-ish.
Yeah, 15.
Dex save. Here we go. 8.
Oh
So-
yeah. Actually, no. Yeah, James is like right there. I don't know.
Well, it only has the last time you guys saw it attack, it made 4 attacks.
Oh, I see.
So,
Bring it
I'm
on.
going to tell you a couple things right now.
You're all dead.
If you feel like you rolled low, now is the time to re-roll, if you can re-roll at all.
What's
All right, I'll
considered
chrono
low?
shift.
Do I have an
If
ability?
you feel that you rolled low.
Burn that.
Now's the
if you,
chance.
If you have whatchamacallit, burn that
The second thing is, this is
inspiration.
the type of save where you will take half damage on a save and full damage if you don't.
Let
Callie,
me
Yes,
check my health.
chrono shift lets me know if I passed or failed.
you don't pass.
Okay.
So if you're going to re-roll, do it.
Okay.
I
Do
I
Ooh.
I
rolled
have
an
time to put on my gold star?
Were you wearing your gold star?
I have it in my book, which I have it on me, so I would have wanted to put it on.
I think we all have inspiration at this point. The only thing is, I think I have a
Who all
Stitcher
has inspiration?
ability.
So let me see.
Do I think I can roll above an 8? Yes. Will I? Probably, maybe. You know what? I will burn my inspiration. I at least want to try to
So as
succeed.
far as I know, let me see what my notes say about who's got inspiration. Betty
Shit, I
used
did
hers in
worse.
episode 5. So far, Cecil,
Yeah.
Caleb, Mariana, Logan, and Nick. So not Betty. Everyone but Betty. But Betty has chrono shift.
Yeah, but I rolled worse.
If I roll again, do we go with that roll or do we go with the one that's the best roll?
It depends on what your ability is. If you
You're
have
rolling
something.
with advantage.
Okay.
So yeah, so just roll and take best.
All right.
Okay, so I will re-roll my inspiration.
God fucking
Oh,
damn it,
shit.
Logan.
Oh no.
Oh,
Oh
Okay.
no.
Again.
So, wait,
Wait.
so who's doing rerolls?
wait.
I'm doing
So
a
if you
re-roll.
reroll, give me your highest roll. So James, what's your
Got it.
roll?
I didn't have to roll.
Right. Fuck. Cecil.
18.
Okay. And you're not gonna reroll.
No, I'm good.
Okay. Betty.
I have to use the 6. That's how chrono shift works.
Alex
I re-rolled my 8 and got a 9.
and Demetrius.
Oh boy.
You got
I
a
mean,
15. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Wait, does the gold star? Can I use it?
you may activate your gold star as a reaction if you'd
It's
like
a reaction.
at this point.
Okay.
Our gold
As
sword
4
gives us
beams,
resistance on this attack.
it's resistance to all damage types.
Then I
Yeah.
will definitely activate my gold star to take half damage.
So 2 questions right now, and you still have the opportunity to activate yours if you'd like, Cecil. Would you like me to roll for damage, or do you want to take the average? And before you say anything, the average is going to be 55 damage.
Oh,
My God.
Oh, thank
Oh my God.
God! I took that resistance because I have 24 hit points
So
max.
would
That
you
would
like-
have killed Alex.
would you like to take the average, or would you like me to roll?
Roll is
Rolling
That-
has
that's
a
what
better
I'm-
chance of us to get a lower number than 55.
Zeus,
me
here
tell
I
you
come.
oh my God.
55! 55 fucking
average-
damage!
Or roll?
I mean, hang on. What's?
Caleb, you're not part of this conversation
I'm
right
still
now.
I'm still stressed. Okay.
I'm kidding. But seriously, guys,
If it wasn't for this gold fucking star, Alex would be dead at
Yeah,
55.
Cassandra would be dead
Well,
too.
55
So
to
guys-
what? 28 damage, right?
a decision has to be made.
Uh,
Are you guys,
yeah,
am I
55.
rolling or am I taking the average?
You know, I think average, because at least we know that we can survive that with the resistance.
What
Okay.
kind of
What if he rolls
resistance?
better?
Can you?
So all of you guys, except for Demetrius, have a gold star. So
She
Jean
can still
Baptiste,
go lower.
are you going to
Well-
take the damage, or are you going to use whatever the fuck you have to try to mitigate that? You've got a couple options at hand right now.
Right. So are you telling it are you telling us if we passed or failed the save first?
I'm about to, but you need to decide if you're going to use your things beforehand, because it doesn't say that you get to know whether you passed or not.
You're sitting at an 18,
So I'm
dude. You're
giving
pretty
you the
fucking good.
opportunity
Half damage
to
on 55
mitigate
damage
damages.
still knocks Jean Baptiste to -1 health.
Yeah.
So he needs to use it no matter what.
Yeah.
You've got a couple options out of everybody else. You've got at least 2 options on hand right now. Okay, so you're going to use your
Yeah, no,
star.
that's fair. That's fair. I'll use my voodoo doll.
Okay. So Jean Baptiste takes half, everybody else takes full. So
But
we're
I
taking
take-
So
damage.
with resistance. So
But
what's
the
resistance
star-
here?
So yes, you guys are going to take full damage. If you guys have your star, you guys are going to take half. So at this point in time, let me
Nice
see.
knowing you.
So Demetrius,
Yep.
the attack that comes your way is blindingly bright. So bright that you're forced to close your eyes in the face of death.
Hi, cruel world.
As a wave of pure magic washes over you, you feel a brief touch, more of a light push against your skin, against your chest, and then nothing. Now, I'm going to deafen all of you except for James, so somebody help me deafen everybody except for James. So, James,
Oh boy.
as you watch this being target 4 of your classmates, you notice movement out of the corner of your eye. You see your fellow first-year student, Garrett, running towards Demetrius. He reaches into his pocket and tosses something behind him. And right before your eyes, you see a giant beanstalk grow from the pouch tossed onto the floor, rising up and piercing the ceiling of the auditorium. You see Garrett stop in front of Demetrius, reaching up and touching his chest with something that glows. Okay, and now I need to undeafen everybody.
Kelly, you lied.
I actually didn't. I said for this one session, so
Yeah, to
episode.
be
I
fair,
said the first
yeah,
half.
that first part
Okay,
you're good.
so-
Second part you're not good.
Okay, so Demetrius, you open your eyes and you see your fellow first-year student Garrett standing in front of you, his hand outstretched, just brushing your chest. Just behind him, you see a giant beanstalk that appears to have come from nowhere, and there's a huge gaping hole in the center of it. You look down to see a glowing star on your chest, the golden star sticker that Garrett received from Professor Romanov, and it's been activated. And then you see the gaping hole in the side of Garrett's torso, and you realize that Garrett had interposed himself between you and the attack. And Garrett looks up at you, a look of relief on his face as he sees that you're all right, and he says, "Oh, friend, I'm so glad that you're okay." And with that, Garrett falls to the ground, all life gone from his body.
I'm unconscious, so I can't have a reaction. But oh my god, okay.
I know.
And then, as all your attention is turned towards Garrett and the giant beanstalk, this magical beanstalk that's come out of nowhere, there is the sudden sound of a gun being cocked. And then a loud crack splits through the sound of chanting as 3 streaks of icy mist flies towards the being. And that is where we're going to end the session. So, until next
Oh.
time, guys. Bye.
Oh boy.
Oh
Bye.
my god.
Bye.
What a way to end the session.
Yeah, the
Guys.
entire party's down.
How?
Not
Yeah,
gonna
I'm
lie,
unconscious.
I thought I was gonna throw up. Thanks for listening. For more information about the world of Arcadia Academy, please check out our website, Bookwyrms and Catdragons.com. That is book, WYRMS, and Catdragons.com. Everything is spelled exactly how it sounds, except for worms, which is WYRMS. And if you like what you're listening to so far, please consider supporting our Patreon, patreon.com/bookworms and catdragons. Patrons get exclusive access to the behind-the-scenes content that you won't find anywhere else, including a new patron shoutout, an invite to patron-only Discord channels, and depending on the tier, access to our Party Talk segments where we discuss sessions, opportunities to name NPCs, chances to submit a signature spell for the world, invitations to monthly Q&As with our team, and so much more. See you next time!
Some notes for the episode. A lot happened in this episode, guys. The first item to note is that episodes 9 and 10 were recorded back to back in the same session, as were episodes 5 and 6. Demetrius actually is still conscious, since Garrett and his beanstalk took the brunt of the damage, and Demetrius has a gold star activated with damage resistance for 1 minute. One thing Kelly would like to note is that the gold star stickers and JB's magical voodoo doll were actually not designed with open house in mind. Kelly and David didn't have any specific plans for those magic items when they came up with them. But it was pretty awesome how things just kind of worked out for the party, right? The party, on the other hand, would definitely like to note that Kelly is evil and a monster. Apparently, for future reference, shit's gonna happen soon is not a big enough hint for the party of things to come. Someone please backtrack and compile scenes of hints from Kelly being misinterpreted by the party. Thanks. Nick's current running theory is that this entity is the BBEG. Kelly's response?
You'll find out.